Welcome. Hello. So I've been doing this for a long time in terms of cybersecurity, and I basically apply my cybersecurity to Bitcoin. And now what I do is I'm an auditor. So I'm this organization, and we audit individuals and organizations that touch cryptocurrency. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin, it could be Ethereum, it could be any other blockchains and tokens. As long as there is some cryptography involved in terms of private keys, etc., then I help do an audit. The audit is based on, or the standard is based on an addendum to the ISO standard and SOC 1 and SOC 2 standards that are out there already. So it's not like you have to follow this standard now. It's an added part because most of these other standards don't have cryptocurrency or blockchain or anything like that. I mean, if they do, it's very little information. They're getting better, but hopefully this standard will get more traction and more industries and will want to embrace it, especially the government and stuff like that. So. All right, so welcome everybody. We had a small introduction of who I am. I'm a cybersecurity expert and auditor in cryptocurrency, and I'd like to give a basic overview of Bitcoin. We're not going to go deep into any of these technologies or innovations that are part of Bitcoin, but we are going to go do an overview, and hopefully we'll get some kind of basic understanding. And one of the first things that we're going to do is that we're going to basically start with an exercise. So, first step is we're going to start with a wallet called Blink. Now, this wallet has special characteristics. It's a wallet like PayPal. It's a wallet like it's custodial wallet, meaning that somebody else has the keys to the kingdom of your funds. But it's the easiest way as an introductory part for merchants and individuals to get into Bitcoin. So if everybody can go to this site, blink.sv or SV. So you'll download the wallet.
Hello, bom dia, boa tarde.
Once you have the wallet downloaded, then we'll go to the next part, which is going to be to do a receive. And we're going to go to choose Bitcoin Lightning, and it's going to look more or less like this. And you're going to receive. Mm-hmm. And then I can I will send you maybe 3 cents. So as soon as somebody gets to this point, they'll show me your QR code.
Ja, maar je moet naar Renaissance, Renaissance bij Riba parkeer en dan ben je Refort.
Yeah, we don't have to understand what's going on. That's the whole point later on. But let's start with the very basics on how to. And in your mind, you will be understanding. Okay, how do PayPal and all these other applications that are out there, how do they work and how do you get onboarded, etc. Sure. Well, this is basically the same thing, but think about it that you don't have really a company behind it that's doing this. This is kind of like open source. There's a company here, but most of the infrastructure is open source.
Are we there all?
If someone has their wallet ready, I'll send them a few gilbert.
Okay, I will also send some people.
I'll be sending cents, but the whole point. I'm not being cheap. I'm just proving the point that I can normally if somebody buys an Apple application from Apple, you'll end up the minimum price for an application in the Apple Store is what? Anybody knows? The minimum cost of an Apple app?
Peter, let me.
So when you buy an app on your app store, how much? What's the minimum? Huh?
So I scanned your QR code.
$1. So 99 cents.
Your address here in my app.
Yes, that's correct.
10 cents.
Yes. If you never had one, you can. If you had one, you can restore. If you don't have one, so when you get to the point of Blink, create a new wallet, it'll go through the steps of sending you an email and going through all that stuff. So the reason Apple charges 99 cents is because all the fees, Visa, MasterCard, all the banks have to pitch in their fees, and then you end up with the minimum price of an app.
Okay. So my name is Runi Calmira. What we want to do is, if you have your Blink wallet, we're going to give you about $10 of our own money.
And again, I'm giving
maybe a little bit more. Listen.
He's giving you 10. I'm giving you a couple of cents.
Because
just to prove my point, technically.
Yes.
So it's not being cheap.
So I'm going to give you 10 cents, all of you. Listen.
No, he said 10 guilders. But
yeah, 10 cents. Listen.
He said $10.
$10 cent. Listen, because later on we will be going into the Curacao Bitcoin Podcast, Citi Cafe, and in the Citi Cafe, if there is pasapalo, snacks, etc., you need to pay at least 2 cents for a pasapalo. So you need to have your wallet right now, and maybe the drinks also. The drinks are free, but you need to pay 2 cents. You understand? So that's why you're going to need my 10 cents of money.
$10.
Okay, 10 cents. No, not 10 cents. And then it is we tested it yesterday. The 2 cents is about 30 cents. Okay? So a drink or a pasapalo cost 30 cents.
All right, so
and once you have your wallet, you will get the sats from us.
So just to get people confused, a sat is a cent, like a cent in a dollar bill. So you got 99 cents, 100 cents in a dollar bill. In Bitcoin world, a sat is an individual, the smallest individual unit of this currency, so that we understand. A Satoshi. Yeah. So we call it a sat.
So if you have one Bitcoin, it is 100 million sats, right?
So 1,500 something sats is $1, just so that you get an idea of.
Do we all have a Blink wallet already?
Can we pause for a second?
Yeah.
So some people are getting the issue where the app thinks that they're in phone is in the US.
Oh, okay.
Connect those people to the Wi-Fi.
To the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
All right, so we need.
Everybody needs on the Wi-Fi.
Who's missing?
Sam and
He needs Wi-Fi?
he needs Wi-Fi too because I saw the same error came up.
Sí, a mí también.
But get your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
No, Wi-Fi. Go do your Wi-Fi. Here.
You have your wallet already? So you want my assets? No? You have it already? Okay, she has it already. Okay.
So you're on Wi-Fi? I know. You have the Blink wallet?
Yeah, I have the wallet.
10 sats.
Yes.
Okay, so now
Yeah. And you have Wi-Fi, right?
Not yet.
Okay, then you can get it here.
Okay.
I'll show you how it works on my when I scan. Scanning this QR code.
Yeah, it's a little easy. You have Wi-Fi? You good? You okay? Oh, you're.
It's like 1 cent. Because it's lightning, you can be really small.
You guys okay?
Yeah.
Wi-Fi?
And then one thing I can show you too is like, if you want to see this in dollars,
You have your wallet?
so maybe we should also show people that when they go in the menu, they can switch to Antillian Guilders.
Okay.
I have to create an account.
You need to. How can we
Yes, I
do
believe
that?
you have-
we cannot
you
share.
haven't done that?
But okay.
What was this block?
So maybe Peter, give them a brief.
Yes, go through that.
The people who have
I
a
don't have
wallet.
access.
Okay.
On this phone.
The people who have a wallet. Who
how
doesn't
did
have
you
a
do it?
Blink wallet right now?
Let's get everyone first.
You didn't do that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't need it. You just
Yeah, that's strange.
Blink Wallet?
You cannot choose.
When he this receive, it's asking him to log in.
What about this one?
Okay.
No, but go back to Blink. So when
you
he goes
need
when he goes to receive,
you need to have even kijken, let me
it's
see.
asking to log in.
Even when
Sorry.
But she went through the whole
You,
steps,
you don't
have
need
to log in.
Bitcoin, you need Lightning.
Maybe it skipped
Yeah,
the
but-
step. Just have to
Where?
Let me see.
But he doesn't have SMS or WhatsApp.
Let Peter help you. Let Peter here, the blue one.
I have my phone number back home. I mean,
Well,
Let him
you
help.
can
In your
follow
Yeah.
along
yeah.
with someone else, but
I'll get in the truth.
yeah. Basically,
William.
because
No, here?
you're
And then you
I
receive.
don't see the lighting.
What's receive here? It's in Dutch, so I don't know. I don't read Dutch. That's fine. What's receive?
Oh, this one.
Go click on it.
Oh, sorry.
Right. That's it.
Give them 10 cents.
Huh?
I'll give them 10 cents, I will give you back.
I'm kidding you. That's okay.
Give them 10 cents, please. Okay. So,
So you have it here. So you move it to Lightning.
Yeah.
Make sure it's on Lightning because you have stable sats. So if you click here, see stable sats,
Yes.
and you have Bitcoin.
Yeah. It's on
But
lighting.
that's Lightning exactly. All right. So then I'm gonna send you 10 cents.
Okay, thank you very much.
I need to send.
the wallet of Satoshi is a great wallet too.
okay. Yes. Peter, William, 10 cents, please. Listen,
Yes.
what we want, just introduction, what we want to have like a Bitcoin Curacao Cafe. We want to do it every month. And that's why we want to introduce you to Blink. And then people will come here. And if you have a business, then we will also talk about the businesses, etc. That's why we want to do this at Citi. And Citi will have a point of sales. We also talk with an iPad or something, and
There you
then
go.
they can receive
See?
your
I
sats.
just send it.
You see? So if
When
you
go
are
back,
if you are a
see,
if you are a
40 yeah,
cafe
40
or if you are a
you can
business owner,
change your
you have a point of sale,
change
which
your,
is just a
no,
tablet. Then you
no.
can be receiving Bitcoin.
Change your
You can be receiving sats, and
Yeah.
then you have to talk to Peter because
Currency.
Peter is going to put you on the map of Curacao.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And
this
on
one.
that map, there are many businesses who receive Bitcoin, who accept Bitcoin. Esperamos is one. So if you need food, you can already go to Esperamos and buy your food with
Got it?
Bitcoin with sats. I think that's a good initiative because food is the first one you need. We are looking for people who produce agriculture and want to pay. We are looking for people who have snacks and food and they want to give you. We are looking for consultants. This gentleman from the Ministry of Economic Development can tell you what kind of businesses we are looking for.
So I just paid it. That's how fast it goes. So now you'll see a balance of 42 cents. So you can change now the if you want. You can leave it on dollars.
We
or
try
you can
every
change
month.
the default instead of USD. You could look for.
We have to
until
check
you
the
yeah,
date.
mhm.
But it will be
So
here.
now-
We will turn this into a cafe.
75
And we could talk
cents.
about all kinds of flippers.
We want to talk about Bitcoin. So,
You guys okay?
So the gilder amount will go up and down as Bitcoin's price.
so everybody has a 10 cents? Yeah?
Can I send from my own wallet Satoshi to the Blink wallet on the same phone? Or
Yes, yes.
copy address?
Yeah.
Yeah, copy paste, yeah. Same thing. Or
So-
if you, yeah.
So you received money.
You have to find someone to sell you Bitcoin.
Sorry.
We can explain that part, I think. for the
Yes.
future.
William, maybe.
Does anyone else need help just with the initial setup?
Everybody okay?
Do you need a few guilders? You have some? If you have zero, you won't be able to spend.
No, I have
Okay.
75 cents.
I will continue. Right?
Yes. When we go, okay, what's the next step?
No, you're good to go right now. So we'll just wait and then we'll.
So what is Bitcoin? The short and easy answer is decentralized digital money. I would add to that decentralized digital sound money. If anybody's in finance and knows about a little more about money, sound money and currency, these are terms that have different definitions. But we're going to basically talk a short history about money. Why Bitcoin, how it works, what makes Bitcoin unique, common misconceptions, and what's next. And we're going to have Monique is going to talk at the very end with a few slides about boosting business, e-commerce, and government and Bitcoin at the very end. Also education and nonprofit. So basically, this is the short history of what money is all about. But human societies had grown beyond small, isolated communities. So we've gone beyond that in terms of moving and migrating throughout the world. And we always had a need to have a medium that allows people to store and exchange value. So in other words, the time that you spend creating value for yourself, you have to either store it or be able to exchange it with others. So the long history of the process is a natural selection that teaches what qualities are crucial for something to become money, or that transfer of value from one individual to another. So throughout society, we've come up with different tools to do this. Beads, seashells from the ocean. Eventually we ended up with gold coins. And gold coins was the way in which you had store of value and a medium of exchange. In other words, you can transfer that value over to somebody else. The minting of these gold coins was done by a centralized government. So that gives you a little more validity versus just a piece of gold. So the first thing that money has to have is the store of value, the ability to store that time and value, the effort that you have, and store it in some either a coin or some kind of paper denomination of that value. That's the store of value. And normally that value gets assigned by the people. The community assigns that value to that money. The medium of exchange part is that because people have assigned value to form of money, they're willing to exchange it for other goods and services which are valuable to them. So in other words, I have to exchange sugar for wheat, and it's great to have a coin that I don't have to exchange an actual, for example, a cow or a calf, because you might not want the whole cow, you might want half the cow. So if I have to travel a whole day to get the cow to the market, and then I get there and I cannot sell it, and one person is willing to exchange the sugar that I need for that half cow, I have to slaughter the cow and leave the other half there. Anyways, that's the whole point of having a coin or value exchange to exchange. So money has to have these basic properties. And the reason for that is that mathematically, Bitcoin has an algorithm in it that creates scarcity to its highest level. It's 21 million Bitcoins that are going to be created, and that policy of that scarcity was initiated in 2009 when the white paper and the first Bitcoin, the first block, let's say, was created. That monetary was kind of like written in stone. That's it. It started right there. So the scarcities and the supply of that money as it gets supplied, and we'll talk about how that works. But this was since the beginning of Bitcoin, it was ingrained into the protocol. Gold, another example why gold is not as scarce as Bitcoin is that gold, if the price of gold is right now 2,400, if the price of gold goes up to 24,000 an ounce of gold, you will see a lot of miners digging deeper into the ground to get gold. They will go into the oceans to get gold. They go to the moon and they go to asteroids and comets and whatever, and they'll find gold. So they will bring that price back down. In other words, scarcity will not be truly scarce, but it's fairly close. And we all know about our euro and our US dollar. It's completely not scarce at all. It's completely the opposite. So it's the reason we're sending so much funds to all these wars around the world is because we have the US dollar there's a printing press that creates all these US dollars every time a loan gets created. So it's not scarce at all. But in terms of fiat currency, it is pretty scarce, the US dollar. So, but if you tell it to a Venezuelan, they say the Venezuelan bolivar doesn't have any, it's not scarce at all. It also has to be verifiable. You're going to be able to verify a coin, for example. You need to verify an euro paper. You need to verify gold, just a gram of gold. You can get to verify that. So gold was very good at that because people could bite it and know exactly if it was gold or not. That was not good enough, so governments started to mint coins, and coins had special characteristics that allowed them to when you take the coin and you look at it, you know exactly certain characteristics that, same thing as an euro these days, One of the interesting things about coins, I don't know if you've seen a coin, it has these grooves around the edge. And I always wondered why you have these grooves. And the reason was that when you had gold coins back in the day, people would scrape the coins and back then they didn't have those grooves. They just scrape and get, if you have 500 of these coins, you start scraping them all and you literally create a new coin from that scrape. And then when you exchange, people don't this looks a little smaller, but it's a coin, whatever, I'll exchange it. So the governments realized that there's like forgery, and they started to make these grooves so that people would see if the grooves were gone, they knew, no, I don't want that coin. So it's got to be verifiable. And Bitcoin is truly verifiable because every transaction and every aspect of Bitcoin is recorded in the blockchain. So that's that blockchain that we'll talk about what it is, but it's basically a ledger, a distributed ledger. Right now we have distributed ledgers in every bank. MCB has a distributed ledger, Banco de Caribe has a distributed ledger, Citibank in America they all have distributed ledgers. And when the transaction happens, these exchanges, these ledgers start to debit and credit and get reconciled, right? And that's what happens. But Bitcoin itself, it's this huge ledger that lives in somebody's computer, and in some cases, it's even in your mobile phone because you have let's say an index version of the blockchain. The point is that you can verify every single transaction, an address. You can verify a lot of things about the same thing as verifying an euro or a US dollar. Same idea. So important to have scarcity and verifiability. It also has to be divisible. Now, divisibility, I was talking about before, why are we giving you 25 cents, 10 cents, 2 cents, 3 cents, is because we want to show that in fiat world meaning currency world or currency imposed by the government, is that we cannot be more divisible than 99 cents or 100 cents per bill. So you look at currencies all over the world, they are limited to 100 cents or units divisible. And that's because of it's practical for people to have 100 cents for one bill or $1 or one euro. But it's not practical to have fractions and fractions of cents. It makes no sense. Same thing with gold. You can't pay with if you have an ounce of gold and you have smaller units of ounces of gold, it makes it more impractical. So the idea here is divisibility. So 99 cents 100 cents has worked for quite some time. I mean, we've used it for a long time, and it's still workable. Bitcoin takes that to a higher level because now we're moving into the realm of the virtual world that lives in the cloud and lives on the internet, and it's actually the what they call the money of the internet. Bitcoin takes it to the level of eight decimal points, so it's extremely divisible. So when you think about 99 or 100 cents, it's divisible by 2 decimal points. So this is Bitcoin is divisible by 8 decimal points. That's why that smallest unit is a sat. But the point here is that you can divide Bitcoin extremely well in that world. So it's extremely divisible. It's more divisible than any other currencies out there. It also has to be transportable, meaning that I need to be able to send it over to somebody else. So this is basically, is it saleable over space? So if I can send you the piece of gold, if I can send you the euro, if I can wire transfer the amount of dollars from one account to another, that's what transportable means. Now, I mentioned 3 completely different. Gold is only has to be physically transported to another location. That's expensive, it's not practical, and that's why fiat is basically has been created, or currency has been created, is because gold failed at that level. It's just not feasible to send physical pieces of gold around the world. So the way they solved it in the fiat world is that they made IOUs. So don't move your gold, here's a little paper, and now it's an account on a ledger that I have, and I'm able to just transfer and reconcile, basically. And that's how they solved it. So when you think of PayPal and all these other accounts and bank accounts, and you see your balances, that's basically, and you can send these dollars back and forth and pay for stuff on the internet, you actually have to involve a third party that's making notes of these transfers. And that's what makes it transportable, but in a sense it's still limited in how it's transported. Now, when it gets to Bitcoin itself, because you have this blockchain distributed in the cloud, you can transport these divisible Satoshis, very divisible Satoshis, over the internet at those speeds without having that third party. Now, there is a third party in Bitcoin world, but that third party is math. It's a blockchain, it's a distributed ledger. In the case of fiat, the third party is a bank or a human or some institution that keeps track of those accounts. So Bitcoin, think of it as that third party, is that blockchain that has that feasibility, that characteristic. And then finally, it needs to be fungible. Now, the word fungible means that if I have a dollar bill, or if I have a bill in my pocket, right, it has to be the same. This is monopoly money, by the way. If I have this in my pocket, right, it's the same, and I give somebody else has one of these, it's the same bill on their side. So I don't have to look at it. If I look at it, I say, I know it's a dollar bill, so I'm able to, exchange back and forth, because give me your dollar bill or your monopoly money, and I'll give you mine, and we're happy because they're the same. That's being fungible, meaning that that's the case. If something is not fungible, so for example, the US dollar, in a sense, is not fungible because it has some kind of serial number, so somebody can track that serial number. It's by law, by constitutional law, you're not supposed to track these bills with their serial number. But another thing is, and this, I don't think, there's no serial numbers on aerials. I don't think they have that. But you have, remember the cocaine money back in the 80s and 90s? It was all these dollars that had cocaine, because cocaine drug dealers were transferring and using cocaine, using dollars to. So a lot of these dollars became tainted with cocaine. So some authorities are able to track certain dollar bills, or $100 bills for that matter, that have tainted cocaine in it, and or traces of cocaine, and that makes it non-fungible because now if you have a bag of money, grandma gets a bag of money for her retirement or whatever, and it happened that she got that money from somebody else that got it from somebody else that got it from Miami or Colombia or whatever, and they know that. They might say, well, okay, lady, this money is drug money. You can't have it. So because of that feature of money characteristics, you need to have fungibility. You gotta make sure that even if it's tainted like that, you shouldn't judge it like, you have to have a money that let's say in the case of cocaine, it shouldn't be able to be traceable with cocaine. So even if it touches cocaine, it's not. So Bitcoin is extremely fungible in that sense, that you know that one Bitcoin in my possession is the same Bitcoin in your, or SAT for that matter. My SATs, I just went for SATs. Imagine if I knew that I want to go back and find out where my SATs went. You don't want that. You want to make sure that it's truly fungible. Well, there we go. So I forgot about this slide. So this is just a representation of the government issue money. So we have the seashells over here. We have the gold. We have the how you store that. We get into paper, and then eventually now we're in the modern. That's why this is where we are on the internet. It's the value transfer at the internet level. So maybe we can talk about this a little bit, but basically here what we have is the seashells are primitive. These are basic tools that we used to use in the past. Then we started to look at, well, we could do better than just, now our community is bigger and we have members of our community that have access to the ocean. This is not going to work. So what about precious metals? So we moved to precious metals, silver, and all this. But then again, there we had some issue with some of the other precious metals, and we ended up choosing one of them, which was gold. And we said, okay, perfect, gold is going to be the one. Then we started to back gold, and we realized that we couldn't. It was not saleable over space. We had to figure out how do we improve. If we had a ship going to the New World, you can't take gold in these ships. It's too painful. And we actually grabbed gold from the New World back to Europe. But the whole point was that they invented a paper way of doing it, so an IOU. So I'm a banker. I'll put the gold in my safe and I'll give you an IOU. And if you give that IOU to somebody else, they'll come here to the bank and I'll make sure I take that paper and give them gold. So that's how it was, gold backed, and that's all the way in 1971 is completely debased from the US dollar. That was Nixon took it out of the gold standard. But it started when? Was it 1910? 1913, that's when it started. The really gold was not being backed up by the in that case those dollars that they had there. And in 1971, Nixon just took it out. There's a whole story about how that went about. And then when that happened, immediately all the currencies around the world became fiat. That's where the word fiat comes from, because now the governments are backing up this paper money. Gold is not backing it up. And now we move into what we call proof of work. And we'll go into an example of how that works. That's what Bitcoin uses. And some other blockchains out there will use the same thing.
And how is the tax regulated with the Bitcoin?
Yes, so we'll talk about that. But we did meet with the Minister of Finance a few years ago. We explained to them that you can pay taxes. You can record whether you have paid taxes or not using this technology. Because remember, the ledger is public. The ledger is not these bank, that bank. It's not like that. It's public, and you can prove that you have either had these transactions. So if the tax department says, I need you to tell me how many transactions you had the last 12 months, I need to get an accountant and do all the paperwork and all that stuff.
OB Williams referring
Right.
to, but in general in Curacao, Bitcoin is classified like euros, and the tax treatment is the same as euros.
No capital gains. No capital
What
gains.
that means in practice is there's no capital gains when you convert euros to guilders, but if you receive euros from a customer, you still have to charge OB because the OB is on the thing you're selling, not on the.
Yeah. So in the U.S., you have capital gains plus sales tax, basically.
But here, there's no corporate profit tax if you receive euros and then you sell it to guilders. If your corporation has Bitcoin and you sell it, it's not a profit and it's not a loss for Curacao accounting.
So no taxable, no way, not taxable, not even.
It's taxable if based on how you receive it. So if it's income to you personally, then it is taxable.
Yeah.
But if you're holding Bitcoin, there's nothing to.
There's no secondary tax when you sell it.
But the beauty of this is that it's all on a blockchain, transparent. That you can, as an individual, you can basically tell the tax authority, these are my transactions, and this is exactly what based on that, I would pay whatever taxes I need to pay. So it makes it a lot easier for the for the tax department to get their taxes. They don't need to, put all these fancy machines all over the place.
So
It's just,
if you do a job for someone and you receive 1,000 guilders worth of Bitcoin, then you record that as 1,000 guilders of income. If you want. According to
The law.
yeah, the principle, yeah.
And the sales tax, if it's locally owned, also.
When
you
you
have to
ask a
do
question,
big
repeat the
one.
question because otherwise
Yes.
they will not.
yeah.
You know,
I
you have
understand,
to charge
and
sales tax
they need-
regardless of the payment.
If somebody has a question.
Oh yeah. All right. So, but we'll do some examples of this. I think maybe you can explain what we did at the tax department of how we did it once we get the. So why then was Bitcoin created? Was just to remove that need for trust. That's the basic thing. You don't want to have that be trusting that third party. That's what we're a society that constantly trusts the government, trust the banks, trust the professionals, trust we're constantly trusting people. And yeah, of course, you want to trust, that my airplane won't fall from the sky. So you have some kind of checks and balances there. So it's all based on trust. This is by Satoshi Nakamoto, but basically it's a quote. The root problem with conventional currency is all the trust that's required to make it work. The central bank must be trusted not to debase the currency. We'll talk about what the debase means. But the history of fiat currencies is full of breaches of that trust. So banks must be trusted to hold our money, or in this case currency, fiat currency, and transfer it electronically. But they lend it out in waves and credit bubbles with barely a fraction in reserve. So a lot of stuff, a lot of terms in here, a lot of concept, but this was written by the inventor of Bitcoin. Now, he had a pseudonymous, so he had a name that he communicated with others in the community when he was trying to come up with this new technology. It was Satoshi Nakamoto. That was his name. Till today, we don't know if it's actually one person or multiple individuals or more than one. Or we just don't know. He has never, or he or she maybe has never divulged their identity, so we don't know. But he basically, in this quote, he talks about the conventional currency, we need trust required, central bank, and then debase the currency is because constantly fiat world, we're constantly printing this fiat currency, we're printing it, and we're debasing our own money. And everybody realizes that the money that used to buy 10 years ago is not the same that can buy today. And we accept that. We have a 2% inflation rate, 2% interest dictated by the Fed in the US, and it trickles down to all the other countries. But the idea here is that we're actually taking a currency and we're debasing it. Basically, we're creating more units than are out there for products and services, and It just creates inflation. And it's drastic in certain countries, so individuals here in Curacao were privileged to have bank accounts, to have this currency backed by the US dollar, which is the less scarce or the less inflated. But if you talk to somebody from Venezuela or somebody from Argentina or Lebanon, they know exactly what inflation means, and they know exactly what it means to have a $100 or a $1,000 bill or whatever the currency is on Monday, and making sure that they don't have that dollar bill by Thursday, because they won't be able to buy anything on Monday. So we don't see it because we don't see our money debased in that way. It takes 10 years to 15 years to see, oh, well, you know, I used to buy a combo in McDonald's for $3 or 3 guilders or 6 guilders. You know, we don't see that anymore. You know, it's 8, 15. The other day I saw Chick-fil-A was like $40 for a hefty meal, because America's, you know, for one person they eat a lot, but it was $40 for Chick-fil-A. You know, it's like there was a milkshake involved and all that, but still. Anyways, that's the debasing of your local currency or your government fiat currency. All right, so this is the example that we're going to stay in this slide quite some time, but just to explain how this works. So Bitcoin lives on the internet. So imagine that these nodes are connected. They're just computers at your house or your home, on data centers, and they're all computers all over it basically establishes what the internet is. We know what this is because we've been using it for quite some time. So your phones are these nodes, right? So in this case, we have 3 individuals, and they have these keys. They're like private keys. These are keys to their kingdom. Nobody has these keys, so they have their own way to secure their network, and they're running some software in it, which is the Bitcoin software, that allows them to be miners. They call them miners. So they're actually mining Bitcoins. So they can listen to all these computers. So they can pay attention to what the computers on the internet are saying. When somebody sends an email, for example, or when somebody sends a WhatsApp, you know, it goes to a server, and then that server delivers it to that individual. But that same technology allows you to send what they call broadcast. So you could stream something into the internet, and every node on the internet will get that stream. Now, most of our firewalls at home and at work take that noise, that broadcast, and just discard it and only accept whatever is intended for us or for that network. But the internet is built on the ability to broadcast, and that's what that means. It's just send individual messages. So these computers, these programs are actually listening to specific noise, let's call it, that's out there on the internet. And we call this is the global Bitcoin network. So think of it like that. So every one of these computers on the internet are running the Bitcoin software. But I'll say that the Bitcoin software does mining, and it does also the ability to verify transactions and not mine. So you can have a miner software that does mining and does transactions. Your phone is using some kind of, if you're using a Bitcoin wallet, it will have some features of that original Bitcoin code, right? But it's not mining, because mining, as you can see, will require a certain amount of power and consumption and processing to do. So, but they're running mining software, and these other computers, think of it, they're not mining software, they're just running the software. It is a distributed network. There is no Bitcoin Envy. There's no company. There's nothing. There's not a help desk. You pick up the phone and you call somebody. There's nothing like that. There are no servers to approve transactions like in MCB. You have data centers, or a few data centers that approve or disapprove a Maestro swipe or a Visa debit card swipe at any of the vendors. There's no server. Their approval transactions happen on the blockchain side, and that's where these miners come into play. These are the ones that are doing the approval. and all nodes are equal. The only thing that's not equal is whether you're mining or not, but it doesn't make you less equal if you're mining or not. You're just as important if you're just running Bitcoin software. And every node holds the complete state of the Bitcoin economy. In other words, every single transaction that started in 2009 till today, every one of these nodes have that copy of that ledger. So they can go back in time and take a look at what happened transaction in 2010, 2009. They can see all the transactions there. So everybody understand that aspect of up to now?
Yeah. I will just add something. In the next episode, we will show you a small computer of $200. It costs, it calls a Raspberry Pi. You can buy that computer of $200, and then you can run that Bitcoin and Lightning on top of it. And I have it running on my in my home. William has one. So for the technical people, for the people who want their own node and they want their own computer, it doesn't have to be a big computer like this. It can be a computer of $200. And then in a future episode, we will show you that. We will show you how to install that. All the software is open source. That means it doesn't cost anything. And the reason why you want that, maybe William can go into that, is you don't want to trust anybody. Because if I'm going on your website, sir, I'm going on your website and you're showing me all kinds of Bitcoin transactions, then I don't know if that is the truth. You see, so that's why I have my own small computer. I'm going there. Nobody has to know what I'm looking. Maybe I'm looking at a Bitcoin address and I don't want William to see, because on that Bitcoin address I have my money. You see? So that's why you want your own node, you want your own Bitcoin transaction. You have to verify it your own.
Yeah. So the idea here is that, again, you can run your own node, whether it's on a phone or a Raspberry Pi or a small computer. You can have the whole blockchain now. How big is this blockchain right now? It's 500 something gigabytes of space. Most laptops today have 1 terabyte, 250 gigabyte, 500 gigabytes. They're getting much better. But the Raspberry Pi has an external hard drive, and the Raspberry Pi does the computing. It's not very fast computing. We'll talk about that. That's the difference between the miner and the individual node that doesn't mine. But you can basically have your own sovereignty, because you are becoming your bank. I mean, what we're trying to explain here is that what Bitcoin introduces is that you as an individual become your MCB. You become your Banco de Caribe. You become your own bank. And there's safety reasons in there. You might want to say, well, if I'm my own bank, I don't trust myself, with my own money. I didn't even trust myself with putting gold under the mattress, That's the whole point of a bank, right? So, but there's again, innovation technology brings these safety nets to the individuals. We're not there for the masses, but the technology is there to correctly designed. You could eliminate the point of failure, basically. All right, so let's see this in action. So what happens is that we're gonna have these guys. Again, this slide I did this when I first Bitcoin meetup that we did back in the day. I've had this slide since then. So that's why I have 100 Bitcoins, 200 and 300 for
You're
each
rich.
of them. So that at that point that was the example. We were trying to. Today I would make it like 0.0 something,
At that time, you only gave me 20 cents or something.
But again, this is not realistic. It's an example. But the example is roughly around where the people who were there were actually explaining this technology. Anyways, number 1, number 2, and number 3, these 3 individuals have 100, 200, and 300 Bitcoins. So what happens is that the Bitcoin blockchain starts mining, basically, or starts the process, right? So the way it works, and it's a blockchain because it's these every 10 minutes this happens, but we'll see how that works. But every 10 minutes this happens, and the chain, and these 10 minutes are connected to the previous 10 minutes, and the previous 10 minutes. They're mathematically connected, and that's why it's called a blockchain, because a chain is all connected, right? So that's why it's called blockchain, and you add a new eslabón in Spanish, they call it, I don't know how to say it in English, which is the link. Okay, the eslabón is in Spanish, right? Eslabón and then link. So anyways, the blockchain gets a new block, and that's a new link. Okay, right. So that you start, and the basics of what the blockchain records is the sender, the receiver, the amount, and the signature. That's all you want to know. It's like a check. You know who you're sending it to, who the receiver is, what's the amount, and there's a signature of somebody on a check. That's basically
not an email and your address and your personal information.
No, just no. That's why people love checks. Checks was awesome, and they eliminated checks. But checks was very well to do the transactions, because you put the amount, you put your name, and you sign, and it's good. For, he's good.
So then you trust everybody in the network. With checks, you could give money that you didn't have. And the good thing with
right.
You can't do that because the transaction won't be clear.
Yeah, of course. And the check that I'm talking about, the checks we all know, it's representative of a bank. So the bank issues these papers, checks, and you fill them out. Okay. Of course, that gets verified with the third party eventually. But the basic information of the blockchain is of a transaction is that, right? So in this example, what happens is that number one, so that lady will send number two 10 Bitcoins. And she signs it. So she puts a signature. And think of it as signature as a, so your hand is your private key. So think of your hand as a private key that nobody has. Nobody can have my hand. Nobody can have Peter's hand. Nobody can have Ronnie's hand. So, but the hand is able to get a pen and sign a signature. You see? So the signature is the output of that hand, which has that private key. And what happens is that each person here has an individual private hand that signs. So you get to see the signature, but you don't get to have possession or control of the hand. So think of it that's what a private key is. And the signature is usually the public key or the end result of that hand signing something on a check. So that's the first step. So number one, and you see she broadcasted the term of broadcast. It gets sent, that transaction gets sent and gets sent to every single computer on the internet. Some might be a router on the internet for 14, for example, or for Renaissance. Well, what does that router do? Discard those, because there's noise, right? But these guys, the Bitcoin miners, will receive that transaction and record it. So each Bitcoin miner grabs this information and puts it in that database. Think of it as a little spreadsheet, right? It puts it there. So now the balances change, because number one, now she just sent 10, so she's got 90, 210, and 300. So we know we have a balance change. Now another transaction gets performed. In this case, is that guy down there that sends to number two. So number two sends to number three 10 Bitcoins. And the balance changes again. Same process. Now we're sending transactions, and these transactions are going to the blockchain, because they don't get to the blockchain yet. They're going broadcasted to all these nodes, and they're capturing that information. Remember, I'm going very slow, but this happens every 10 minutes, right? So that's why, this usually happens 3 to 4 days at MCB level and Banco de Caribe. We do it in 10 minutes, so that's an improvement right there. It's not as fast as a PayPal transaction or a Maestro transaction, but it's pretty. But that's what we have Lightning. We just saw that with that exercise that we did earlier, right? So then number three finally sends to number 2 back 30 Bitcoins, and the balance changes. And every single one, again, gets signed by their own signature, so they can prove that that did happen. Now, when all this is going on, that all these, remember, this information is no longer going to them, it's also going to every single node out there. Like Ronnie said, I could have a Raspberry Pi at home, and every time a transaction goes out there, I'll also receive that transaction. But these guys are, what they're doing is they're working with their node to do a fast puzzle or compute a puzzle to find a specific number. It's a hash. It's a specific mathematical function that they're trying to run, and that's the difference between the Bitcoin miner and the non-miner. So the Bitcoin miner is actually trying to solve this puzzle. To do this, it has to do computation on their computer. When they're doing this, so all these individuals are grinding this information that they captured in the database, in the spreadsheet. They're also computing this hash function, and it's a puzzle they're trying to solve. Now, but it's a puzzle that is not a mathematical or scientific thing that you have. If you're smart, you can figure it out. It's really smart. It doesn't make it happen. It's how fast you can repeat the same function, and you're trying to get to a specific output. So at the beginning of the 10 minutes, the output is determined. So everybody says, okay, we have to get this price. So it's like a lottery, right? You get, if anybody who gets this number, they win the lottery. So what's the fastest way to win a lottery ticket is to buy a lot of tickets, right? The people buy more tickets, they get a higher probabilities that they will win the prize of the lottery. So in the case of these guys, they're computing very fast. The faster they compute, now all equal, if they all compute at the same level, approximately 10 minutes will go by and one of them will win that or will solve or get that puzzle, get that prize. And they match it to the lottery. They say, oh, I got the number. And that's what a confirmation is. Now in this case, so the 10 minutes go by, number 2, so they were all equally processing this game of a lottery. And number 2 was able to win or solve the puzzle. So they got the prize. And they get compensated for that. Back then, it was 12.5 Bitcoins that they got. Remember, 10 minutes, this miner, for doing that work, will receive 12.5 Bitcoin. This gets half every 4 years, more or less. So it started with 50, then it got half to 25, then 12.5, and so on and so forth.
Since last week, right?
Since last week, we went to 3.25. So that's the incentive for these people, because they have to have computers. Computers for what? For not for scientifically solving a puzzle, but for be able to very fast process that function and get an output. Oh, it's the wrong output, let me do it again. So if I can go faster than that, or if the lady goes faster than the two guys, then she will win most of the time. So what happens is that she will win, but not only does she will win, she will probably win faster than every 10 minutes. So now it takes 8 minutes. And if it takes 8 minutes, eventually we'll get to the point that as we get more computing power, because this guy figures it out, what did she use? Oh, she's using a faster computer. Maybe she's using a specialized hardware. So I want that hardware. So he buys it, and he buys it. Now they're all going very fast. And now instead of 10 minutes, it's 6 minutes, 5 minutes, 4 minutes. Then it changes the protocol, which means that every 10 minutes is the. So there's an algorithm in there. There's AI involved. To me, I call Bitcoin's algorithm a very primitive AI, but it basically says, hey, you guys are going way too fast. You guys are just zipping through this, and you know my Bitcoin protocol. It's not 10 minutes like it should be. it's 5-6 minutes. That's not the protocol. So I have to do something. So what do? In the case of the lottery, if you want people to, like if people start buying a lot of lottery tickets and they start guessing, imagine if you had 2 numbers. People will guess the two numbers faster than if you have 4 numbers or 6 numbers. So what is it? You introduce a new machine with the little balls, right? You put more machines. So what the algorithm says, okay, well, we're going to make it a little bit difficult for you. So it introduces difficulty into the math problem. So it makes it so that these computers that were doing very fast, I guessed it. All of a sudden, oh, shit, I go back, it's too slow. I can't guess it. And then it goes back to 10 minutes. And the opposite happens if it goes above 10 minutes. Maybe these people turn off their computers. And only a few miners are left, but these miners have old equipment, and they take forever. They take an hour to mine. And then the algorithm detects this is, oh, okay, I'm gonna make it easy for you. So I'm gonna take a few balls out, a few machines of balls out, and now you can guess faster, and you back to 10 minutes. So.
I want to add something. This is dollars, right? This is $20. So what is it backed by? So what is this dollar backed by? And then before 1971, I think, before Nixon had a speech, you can look at that on YouTube, this was backed by gold, you see? So this was backed by gold before 71. But the last 53 years, this has not been backed by anything. Because in 71, Nixon said to the whole world, we're not going to give you gold if you give us the dollars, right? Now, what William just said is, people say Bitcoin is not backed by anything. But when you listen to this, Bitcoin is backed by energy. Because if you don't have energy, you cannot win that block. You see, so all the miners, the big miners, they are spread around the world, and they are looking for resources, for energy resources. So in Africa, if there is a river, they will go there. That river didn't produce any energy. There is no neighborhood around it, but the miners will go there and will be the first to get that. Now, so it is backed by energy. It is backed by, you cannot break it. So when you see the blockchain, every block is basically energy. It has been, you have used solar energy. In the United States, you have used gas. So gas that goes into the air, the miners go there, they need that energy to run the mining computers and then do that. So when people say Bitcoin is not backed by anything, that's the people outside, the people who didn't come to Citi Podcast Cafe. And then now you know that it is backed by a lot of energy. To finalize it, I think there is one man on the internet, Michael Saylor, and he talks about how much energy is there. And he says the Bitcoin is backed by more energy than the banking. It's backed by more energy than the whole world. There is no other sector in the economy. So if you take all the computers in the world, you cannot even break that code.
Yeah.
So Bitcoin is backed by energy, and this is not backed by anything.
That's what.
So you can exchange for to that monopoly one. You can exchange. Gold is not backed by anything.
Well, this is at the bottom of the fiat. I think
This
above
is fiat money. This is fiat money.
Also monopoly one.
above this is a Bolivar, maybe.
Yes. No. So listen.
So Bolivar is a little more valuable than.
Okay. So to finalize, fiat money. Fiat means money by decree. So it's because a government said that's money. You see, but I just want you to listen. This is not particularly only the dollar. This is paper. Some people don't see the paper anymore. Do you see the paper still? The people in Venezuela, they see the paper. They know that, okay, this is the dollar, this is the best thing. But even if you put, I don't want to make it difficult, but even if you put this one, I hope you see the paper. You have to look at the paper and see the paper, and don't look only at that thing. Because
both of those in your pocket, and you fly to Colombia, one of them is actually monopoly money when you get there.
Yes. So this will be, and then the last thing is the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin. They sold 1/3 of our gold. So they sold it and they bought
Treasuries.
US treasuries. And I'm an economist. I know the treasuries. I'm looking at the treasuries. William is not doesn't agree with me, but the US debt to GDP. So if debt divided by my total income is 130%. What does it mean? The debt from Curacao is around 70%. So the US has more debt than their whole income. Would you lend to somebody who has more debt than their income? You see, that's why people, but that's for another episode. That's for another.
That's another.
That guy has nukes, I would
We want you to come to the next episode where we will be talking about that the dollar. There are a lot of people, and especially the Bitcoin people, that they say gold is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is like gold. Sats is like gold. And it is more scarcer than this for sure. Because this, they printed a lot during COVID. They printed 40% of this. And they are printing 7% a year. That's the inflation.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So going back to that fee, I reiterate the difference between fiat money or fiat currency and money. Money is usually organically by all individuals in a community to decide what is a value transfer mechanism or tool. And sound money represents that. It could be gold, it could be also that paper could be sound money if it was backed by gold and you could have that exchangeability. So that in a sense is the idea here is that fiat is by decree. So the government says you have to use this guilder here in Curacao, but if you go to Venezuela, I have no control over that. So it means it's monopoly money in Venezuela or in Colombia. Maybe in Venezuela they might accept it because they're desperate. But the point is it's by decree. Anyways, going back to how Bitcoin works, is this happens. That's what we call a confirmation. Every 10 minutes, this happens, right? That puzzle in getting the lottery ticket, right? It happens every 10 minutes. It's called mining. It levels the network. It makes everyone agree on the transactions being consensus. So when they make that puzzle, right? So everybody collected that spreadsheet, right? That information in the spreadsheet of all the transactions that happened within that 10 minutes. And this person over here won the lottery. So they get compensated. What that means is that they take those transactions and they put it in the block, they seal it, they close it, and they put a link, like the link, right? And they create a brand new, let's say, folder or bin where you're gonna put more transactions. Because think of it as you put transactions in a folder, right? So you have a folder, you put transactions in a bin. Where you put, so each one of those is a transaction. So what you do is you create an empty version of that every 10 minutes. So every 10 minutes you create one that's completely empty, and then you put transactions in there within 10 minutes. In that 10 minutes, you win the puzzle, somebody did expense energy, and they got compensated for that, and all of a sudden now you have, everybody agrees, and the whole world agrees or the whole internet agrees that transactions in that block that got sealed have those transactions that are permanent. They cannot go back. You cannot go back in and say, oh, by the way, let me take this transaction and actually change the different amounts because this was a mistake, and we're gonna have to change the owners. This is not for this minister, but it's for this minister, not that minister. So we have to change the name, and that happens all the time. But it happens on ledgers and banks And we have rule of law that prevents or tries to prevent that, but that's what we call corruption. This blockchain cannot be corrupted. Once that transaction gets in there, it's for good. You can't go back and change it.
William, can we break for having some drinks?
Yeah.
And then also the snacks.
Yes. Just to finalize, the whole process is called proof of work. Why? Because you're proving, these miners prove that they worked, that they expense energy. And for that proof that they did of work, they get compensated. And in that process of compensating and proving work, they actually sealing that block and putting the transaction in, and they open a brand new one and they start the whole process every 10 minutes. That's why there's something backing it up, which is called energy, and the hard work of these individuals that are doing this. So that's it. So we can go ahead and stop and pick up here.
We will stop for 5 minutes, have some drinks, and then the city people are going to come for your sats. So you need your wallet to pay for some snacks. Thank you. So we have some drinks here.
Anybody has questions?
We have
Also,
drinks here.
Throw them. Is it clear? Down.
Hey, and we are listening to you online.
Okay, just question about
Sim.
the speaking to show us
Sim.
how Bitcoin works.
Pa William tayo?
Yes.
How do you see the non-S ledgers like
Hindi pa William tayo. So William si President.
are they safe or are they, because I began this
What do you value?
Bitcoin in 2015. Ethereum was like $20 for one Ethereum, and Bitcoin was like $2,000, something like that. But I stopped because I was.
Nanto pa din ang siyang door di kaya is 6 Bitcoin, no?
That's why I didn't
Is
go
6.3
further.
Bitcoin, no?
Yeah.
Wat kom er?
It's too
Kami
bad
si bota mine ang word
because
aqui.
how it's grown,
Si bota mine.
But if
Botin
I
6.3 Bitcoin. No, botin 3.1 Bitcoin. Kaya botin mo computer.
Right. So you came a little late, but we have an example. Maybe you want to try that because it will help you understand the difference between what you transacted back in 2015 or 2015 and today. It just is. So here, go to that website. This is a wallet. This is a custodial wallet. Custodial meaning that somebody else controls the security. It's like, think of it as a Maestro app.
it's online.
Yes, not online. No. It's a wallet on your phone, but the security happens like the app, PayPal. It's a PayPal app. You know, your app runs on your phone, but it's based on an account that you connect to this company, right? So this is the first step. And it's called custodial wallet. There's two different types of wallets: custodial and non-custodial. That's a custodial wallet. So to explain how to transact and how to secure your bitcoins and stuff, we're going to use this Blink wallet for you. So try download that. Wait, hold on. And you have Wi-Fi? Yeah, here. Yeah. Just a second.
So it's like,
Which one is it? If you want to send me your
they said wait 6 confirmation, Satoshi's but that's when the network was in the beginning. But
Yeah, Wi-Fi? Tienen Wi-Fi.
one is usually not if you're buying a car.
No, here's the restaurant. Oh,
There's one confirmation.
hey, sorry, I completely forgot. The bathroom is back here. Man, basic presentation etiquette. Bathroom is back here. You connected?
Yeah, I'm connected now.
All right. So then continue downloading that app.
US number or
US number.
716
Yeah, that's it.
22086. That's the number.
Yeah.
That is actually
What's up? Yeah. Okay. Put it there. All right.
William, you can put something on screen.
A what?
He said something.
Yeah. You just get it.
You could put something on screen. Probably I don't have it. Tu rende, possiamo po bindare un drinks, un coi bebe. And the paper station on. For the snacks, you need your wallet. You need your wallet. For the snacks, you need your wallet. Yeah. Huh?
The wallet, the database will connect.
Yeah.
Link wallet.
The link na e-wallet, ela pôs link para download wallet.
See, blink. Okay, anybody has a... This is see.
Yes, I get a link.
Pastete.
No,
Não,
William.
Agora vou entrar assim.
This the Blink wallet you see?
Yes.
Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, Apple or Android?
Android.
Google Play.
Agora acertar, boa.
Okay. Just slow.
Yes.
Okay.
And then install it. Yeah.
You receive?
Good. And then once you have it set up, I'm going to send you 1 guilder, for example. And you'll.
How many is your sats? How many pastete?
You know what I'm saying?
30 sats?
No, 7.
They don't have
70
beer,
sats.
so.
70 sats, okay. Yeah, I'm a peddler. Yeah. Paid? All right. Hey! Citi Cafe. Oh my God. Monique, you got sales.
That's fine. Do you have our
The drinks are free.
WhatsApp,
Next.
or do you have connect to get in touch
Pwede
with you?
pastete, but you do this with pastete.
But do you use WhatsApp?
Yes, I use WhatsApp.
Next
You
one.
can WhatsApp them. Yeah. Or if you want my WhatsApp, I can give it to you.
All right.
And then you need questions. You can
Hey, that's a lot of yeah. No, how much is it?
No, but it's finishing.
almost there.
Yeah, paid.
So
All
just
right.
add your contact.
Thank you. 2.
Yes, Santiago. Santiago. So it's easier.
All right, and then next, did you pay?
Yes. Okay. 716.
Goes fast.
So 1 is the first number.
Did you pay?
716-222-0886.
Did you pay?
0886.
Okay. Somebody has to help.
and then +1, so it's US. And then send me a what's up. And I'll just confirm.
Yeah, next.
And then slide to the confirm. Slide to the right. All right. Yes, more revenues. Hey! The next bastante. Yep. So we are.
Where can I pay? With SAT?
Right here. How much percentage would you like?
I don't know. What do I have to pay?
17 stacks.
Mijn computer en zo.
70 cents, okay.
17
That's what he was talking about, Raspberry Pi.
Yeah. So you want
I run 4 nodes, not miners, but nodes. I have 2 at home, 3 at home, and 2 in the cloud. Peter has like 2
Other
or 3 in the
wallet.
cloud.
Satoshi wallet. So
We have a community
Alright.
one that we're going to show, that we have our own node here in Curacao.
All right.
In an actually data center of Curacao.
No, for a couple of seconds. Yes.
How can I learn or get more?
Thank you. Please hand over the
Information.
pastiche.
Well, I have like a Bitcoin community. She has a city group that you can get.
Guido,
a link and
thank you.
And get. It's an international
people get aware of
meeting kind of that you can get events and organize them. Did it work?
Pastiche tá bom. E só para
You have
pastiche.
the number. So whenever you have that, tell me. And when you send me, if you have a name, tell me your name so I don't forget. So yeah, so that's one. So the city
Next.
has that ability to see
Yeah.
what events are. Like this one is going to be one of the first ones.
And the swipe.
I've been doing a
Slide to
Bitcoin meetup
confirm.
every 3 months or 4 months.
All right.
So
Doe net zo
we
pastiche.
meet and we have a community. We have a WhatsApp a Signal group that we participate, ask questions and stuff. But
My situation, I just want to invest, no? Invest, and then see how far I can go.
or save.
Also possible.
The Bitcoin is a savings mechanism, not an investment. That's the difference between crypto and Bitcoin.
Yeah, okay.
Crypto is investment,
You have a different,
stocks and bonds, investment. But Bitcoin is a
Slide.
It's a savings mechanism. It's not. I buy Bitcoins every month, every week actually.
Sorry?
I buy Bitcoins every week.
Yes.
Since I've been doing this since.
But
All right.
But
Hey,
I do it for
Bitcoin.
my great
Bitcoin.
grandchildren. Not for me. For my great
Thank you,
grandchildren.
sir.
I'm not even for my children.
really don't.
No,
It's
no.
not for you.
It's literally how do you save for your next generation?
That's a good thinking.
That's what we all, Peter, and we all in this since the beginning. I invest in, we have different stocks and you got pensions and stuff like that. You invest for short term. You buy a house because you live in it, you rent it.
Peter, you de meneer.
But do you save for your children, for your grandchildren?
So you did not. You did.
And when we send our, I'm not saying my grandchildren, but I think the society's, Curacao in the future.
No.
What are you doing for them? They're not even born.
Creative wallet.
No,
You see what I'm saying?
my daughter was like 6, but
What about the one that's not born? The daughter of your daughter. When she comes around, she's gonna say, "My grandpa did this. Wow, mama, he was awesome." What did?
and then life is.
You're not around, but she's
That is
around.
free, I don't
Life is
know.
not so hard for them.
So it's easy. It's easy to do something now
Yes.
because it's good for you now. I'm not even here in a year, in 10 years from my. But these new generations are. What about that? It's not fair. I mean, imagine if our great, Dutch discoverers back in the day,
Roos, toch?
Curacao,
Roosco.
did what they did not, Shell back in the day, But imagine, flip it around, be Venezuela. How are those people feeling in Venezuela? What these stupid people did for us.
Lekker economische zaken pakken. Natuurlijk.
I heard my name.
Meneer, wat ook een braka?
The what? Okay. Yeah, you don't get any? Do receive.
Sim, menina, quanto você te botou?
Yeah. So here we have Bitcoin and stable sat. Stable sat.
Pero
is
ahora
like
eu
US
vi dos
dollar.
dias, price que subiu.
So I can send you stable
Price
stable
doesn't go
sat, and it'll be deposited as dollars. Okay. In other words, if you have to pay electricity or pay things in fiat, you don't want that volatility of the price of Bitcoin go up and down. You want to have $1,000, for example, because you know that stays stable, so you can pay salaries, etc.
Yeah.
So that's why that's there.
Okay.
But you don't care about that. You care about
Yes.
this. Then here you have different ways. On-chain is called Bitcoin. Remember, on-chain being Bitcoin, and that's what that 10-minute transaction is. This is that address. But Lightning we're doing on top of Bitcoin. Okay. It's the same
Yeah.
idea. So now that's what I'm gonna send you now.
Sim.
Sim.
Hey, lagi.
Pode buy na Gap Blink.
Gawin namin po, ba?
Gap
SB
Blink.
or download Blink wallet.
Sim.
Mira que bem lá também, PJ.
Sim.
Wat moet je mij?
Papa, eu vou open source. You have to get your business.
So it goes like this.
Ja.
Ja?
Swipe next.
Next.
Então botar slide para
And then see, I can choose to send you US dollars, and then we stay in dollars. Can I do that? But I have zero. I have Bitcoins. So I'm gonna send let's say 1 guilder. So I have it. You can change that. You have it in guilders. Or?
Pero tinha outro gostava, tinha botar, deixa eu comer.
Go here, and then
Tem galinha
currency.
dentro.
Change it to guilders.
All right, William, for you the pastiche is $10.
Just a second.
No.
I'll be right there.
I will have
Right.
one. Also.
Angie,
And then we can continue, guys.
and go back. Go back again.
Monique, thank you.
Is it?
Okay.
Is it? So now, all right. So, what is it?
Pastiche.
Was it 2 cents?
17 sats. This is the lady.
Oh, she's she has to.
Citi Cafe.
Yes.
So 1 pastation.
There you go.
Done.
Done.
That's it.
Why is it so fast?
Botar um bequinho, menino?
Oh, sorry. Fine, I have water here.
Blink.
Hold on.
Tá blink, hè? Você comigo botou outro wallet. Oh, is it the blink? No. No, where's the by blink? But where did the blink? Yeah, blink.
Him, I did it because I made an invoice on his. But if I want to send with my thing, can I do that on the Lightning Network? Because it goes
So
to
which other wallet you want to transfer
No,
from?
I just want to send it
Next.
anybody. For example,
Can-
the Satoshi wallet and then
Go to right, swipe to right. Where go oranje,
I
swipe.
want to send that much money.
Yeah.
That's not possible here.
No.
Where?
Done.
Send.
Okay, but then we go to the Bitcoin network.
All right.
It's not a big one, right? You have to scan.
Because I want to make an amount here to send. Just for example, I want to send $10 of $1.
You do that when you receive then.
Yeah.
All right. Woo! Okay,
So
guys.
you have stable
Now, we
coins
can
and
go
Bitcoin.
on, together,
And you have
so we
Lightning
will
or
continue.
On-chain. So this is on-chain. See the BC1Q?
Yeah.
Lightning is an NNC. It's a very long address. You
William,
can set the amount here. And once you set the amount, you can add a note and then you send it. That's it.
Okay. But then you have to start with receive it. That's straight.
Yeah, because that's how you
Actually, you want to send something.
No, when you make an invoice, you don't create the invoice. The person who creates the invoice is the one who has to receive. This is an invoice.
I did it
Okay,
myself.
we can
It's an
tell you.
invoice. So think of this as an invoice. That's what you receive.
So I have to create the invoice so he can send them.
Yeah, but I also can create the invoice. but
Yeah,
it
we continue. We will
starts
continue.
with receive. It's strange. It's not logical. I have to use the receive button to make a invoice.
Where you show the website of that he said? Look here. What's the website?
They ask what type of code balance.
A mí también digo paga, pero me te pagar por tirar. Me põe isso.
Well, receive is received because it's an invoice. An invoice is created only for receiving.
I know what he means.
Roos.
What's the number?
How much you want to send?
Sorry. No. So
You can do it too.
yeah.
Do it. Because what happens is you create the QR code, he scans it. When you scan it, you then put the amount. So he's creating the invoice at the moment he's ready to send. Try it.
We want to thank Citi for hosting us here. Monique, Mireia, Rose. And yeah, Citi is innovation and technology. Maybe Monique can say something. Monique, do you want to say something about Citi? We'll put your
Let's do it.
Click on mic on.
mic on.
So,
Yes.
Yes. So there.
I want to say welcome and thank you all for coming to the Citi Cafe, as it's called today. I hear everybody say. So I hope this is the start of many interesting and fascinating topics to be discussed in this venue. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed your experience of your first Bitcoin transaction. And we've organized this workshop as part of the Innovation Week that we have this week. We have every day we have another workshop. We are sharing videos with of other innovators and innovations on the island. We specifically chose to highlight some topics and some organizations that are not, every day in your face out there, very well known or very big necessarily, but that are important innovations for our future. So thank you so much, guys, for doing this.
Our pleasure.
They've been doing this for years. The Bitcoin experience. Let me just call it that. And so it's fascinating, but it's also important. I also wanted to share, while I have you, that I shared a registration list. There's one here and one there, so please sign it. And also, after the session, you have earned a digital badge with this session. Curacao Innovation Technology Institute and Mayo, Ministry of Economic Development, have a platform that's called Curacao Island of Learning. And on this platform, this is basically free for everybody to use and put their learning activities on the platform and issue digital badges for your learners. And so also you guys today, in participating in this workshop, you have earned a digital badge. So I have printed the QR code, so at the end of the session you can scan the QR code and get the digital badge.
Yeah, and this just to add to that's it.
Curacao Island of Learning.
Curacao Island. That's a site. We will have more events, and then you can register and then get notified of the latest events that are coming. And not only here, it's also in Holland, Amsterdam, different places around the world. So if you're interested in something happening in Amsterdam, you can be notified. Maybe you can't be there, but at least you can participate.
Yeah, it's an international platform. It's a network called Cities of Learning, and so Curacao is within that network, an island of learning. So it's very interesting. All kinds of learning activities on there, but also the opportunity to share your learning activities. It's called, it is the Cities of Learning platform. So no, that's the platform. So it was created by a company called Batchcraft. They got European funding, and together with a couple of countries, of which the Netherlands and Curacao were also part, they created this European platform. And so, a lot of cities like Rotterdam have their City of Learning. And so we have Curaçao Island of Learning. There's more. We were the first island of learning. Before that, they only had cities and regions, and then they were like, okay, so maybe it's also good to have islands of learning. There are like 16 islands of learning. So it's a whole network, and like William said, this means that you can also access all kinds of content that is being shared in other cities or countries.
Is there a website? Maybe she's asking, is there a website you can register?
It's the general website of the whole platform is citiesoflearning.eu, I think. And then the Curacao website is curacaoislandoflearning.cw. And that link is also on the handout. So maybe, I think they are on the table. Are they on that little yellow table under that laptop? Yes. Those things. So this I can put one on every table. So if you guys share this one, this also has the information on it, the website link.
Anyway, if you can send me the link, if you have the link and send it to me
it is
on WhatsApp.
It is actually really Curaçao Island of Learning, all written out.
Islands or island?
Island
of
learning.cw. Yeah. Yeah. This is the one.
All right, so here it is. This is a site, so everybody wants to go to the site and register. I think we're starting the meetups. You know, I have the meetups. I'll put them on meetup and put it here too.
And by the way, don't think you're late to the Bitcoin revolution, because they say there are about 200 people now that are worldwide involved with Bitcoin. I think it will be half.
Hopefully, the sound will be good.
Okay.
People like here, they have like 10 addresses, so 10 wallets. So I think a lot of them are becoming double. And especially in the countries like Venezuela, Turkey, there's a lot of use of Bitcoin payments,
contact us.
network payments, because there's a lot of high inflation over there. But the amounts they work with there, compared to what we work with here, are mostly they're very low. Let's say $100 or that kind of wallets. So we're still very, very early in the revolution that's going on, and believe me, in 20, 30 years, your children or your people will say, you were that at that time already involved with the BTC. Wow, I wish I was there. Believe me, because it's just the beginning of all the things that they are going to come.
Yes, sometimes I tell people save Bitcoin for your child's university. You know, think of it as a very long-term investment. It's a vehicle for that. But I'll change topics just a little bit to share with people BTC Curacao, what we're about and what we're doing. So really, you know, it started just as informal nerds and geeks that were meeting up, that William was a community organizer on meetup.com, and we were on WhatsApp, and now we're on Signal. And then through those meetups, there were some business people on the island that started taking Bitcoin. The first one was the Wind Surfing School. There's a man named Ingmar who owns that business. And then in 2018, Ricardo de Freitas from Esperamo joined our meetups, and we had conversations with him, and he was already a Bitcoiner and into Bitcoin. And he had some technical questions on how to safely take the Bitcoin, you know, at the cash register, where then the Bitcoins weren't actually there, it was deposit only, and that you couldn't spend it there, so he didn't have to worry about theft, which is a problem for a grocery store. And then from that, we were about 10 businesses in Curacao, and then I started a WhatsApp group quietly to like help any businesses that wanted that. And then when COVID hit, it made sense to launch this as a more public platform to, get Curacao to speed up into digital payments, because we know due to the legacy financial networks that Visa and MasterCard is not an easy thing for us to integrate here, and it's not easy for us to take payments digitally without COVID hygiene problems and stuff. And then now with Bitcoin, you can just do it by email, by WhatsApp, without any sneezing on each other, so to speak, and without having to worry about Visa and MasterCard. So this is our homepage here, which we mainly focus on consumers and merchants. So we're trying to highlight here for consumers like where you can spend Bitcoin on the island, which is actually 89 different stores. 62 of them have a location and there's a pin there. We're also on an international mapping service, which is called btcmap.org. And they're finding the locations globally of all the places that take Bitcoin. And as volunteers, we update that map. And actually, if you look at their rankings, we're ranked very high. So Curacao, depending on if you rank it per capita or per square kilometer, we're either in the top 5 or the top 3 globally. So it can be a thing where we feel like, oh, we're in the Caribbean and we're behind. But this is the case where we're in the Caribbean and we're way ahead. Because when you talk to someone about taking Bitcoin, well, that's the guy who owns the shop. He's not like, let me talk to my manager, who's going to talk to the manager and the manager and the manager, and then someone will get an email in New York and say, we don't care about that Bitcoin thing, But here it's just like, hey, it's a friendly island and people want to show you respect by like taking your form of currency. And then sometimes we tell them about the philosophy of Bitcoin, which is what you heard here today. But then also it's just like, well, be open to tourists coming here, because tourists don't actually have guilders in their pocket. European tourists don't have dollars in their pocket. They come only with those 2 logos of Visa and MasterCard, which don't always work here. And when you're on vacation, you find out your card got tagged for fraud and it didn't work and you have a bad experience. Well, our email is hello@btccuracao.com. So if you have a business and you're interested in accepting Bitcoin, I would recommend you to email us, and then we can kind of hold your hand, recommend you the wallets and the setup. It's pretty easy if you're just taking in-person payments. It's the Blink wallet like you experienced today. If you have a shopping cart, there's a way to integrate with Blink's API, and then you would need a little bit more back and forth with us, and we would connect you to online learning materials or the support of the Blink company. If you want to buy Bitcoin, because I know that there was that question earlier, we have some links. CEX.io and ChangeNow.io are the best ones that are still actively take Curacao residents.
And the teller at the...
And there's an ATM at Mambo Beach.
Yes.
Sometimes it's down, like there's either not Bitcoin in it or not guilders in it.
And it overcharges 50%.
Yes.
Yes, but by the way, that ATM is Lamassu, so it's a French company, and they've been around for. It's a very robust machine. I think it's better than the local ATMs that you have here. And there's so these ATMs are popping up all over the world.
So
and they're extremely secure and robust.
Also, like, it can be good to find someone to buy Bitcoin off in person. And normally I tell people that we have a group on Telegram that's called BTC Curacao, and then you can find people who are buying or selling Bitcoin there individually. And I know today here, Michael, he's active on the Telegram group, and if you twist his arm, maybe he can help you to buy or sell Bitcoin.
You will sell you Bolivar?
Is there any other points?
Okay.
Well,
this is our main website to get information. We're gonna we have a Bitcoin meetup that also gives you put your email and you'll get notification of new sessions like this one. And now we have this new one that Monique mentioned, City Islands, learning of City Islands.
William, maybe we cannot go through the whole presentation.
Yeah, we
have to go too faster. But you can show the link of that the person said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we want to do question.
Yeah, question and answer.
What did you want to watch? Show here?
Oh, live.
Live?
Make the screen bigger, maybe people can see.
Make the streamer a little bit bigger. Yes.
You want to explain this, or you want me to explain it? So this is a website that explains what the miners are doing. So these are miners, information about miners, and what they do. So there's different things here, terms called a worker, hash rate, account information, total earnings, account balance, average per day, and then you have a hash rate, and that word comes up again, hash rate. So what is hash rate? What does that mean? And a hash rate here, that again. What this basically means, hash rate is, remember that we talked about that puzzle that these miners are doing? They have a way to measure this work that they're doing, and the way you measure it is it's a mathematical developers kind of a term called hash rate, and it's the amount of hash or power or work that they're doing, and they're measured in this is the last 10 minutes, by the way, but it shows you the amount of hash rates
William,
in terabytes.
What's the
Okay, see here, terabytes. So that's a term, that's a mathematical term that it's 193 terabytes. And if you go out and Google what is a terabyte, you get into the realm of supercomputers. So supercomputers compute cycles to compute, solve problems, which is basically what this is doing. The miners are solving a very complicated puzzle. Go ahead.
I think the easy way to think of it is like horsepower. So your car has 200 horsepower.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
The
Yeah.
horses in there, it's because we used to do the horse thing. So when you're hashing at home, it's like that's your laptop does 1,000
Hash,
hashes a second, and here we're talking about like millions
Exactly.
of horses.
Perfect. It's a
in your
perfect
engine.
example.
Yeah.
So these are horses, right? So a bunch of horses, the more horses you have. But anyways, the supercomputers, like an IBM supercomputer, does so many terabytes. The reason this is so high, 193 terabytes, this is the fastest computer that humankind have created. And the way they've done it, it's not one computer, like the IBM Blue computer or the other. It's just decentralized. All these nodes that you saw in the previous slide that we were going through the example, all these computers contribute to that hash rate. So when you combine them all, they're solving a problem that requires 193.279 terabytes of hash to compute that. So
I think maybe we can turn the floor to questions and answers, because mining is
this
like
is
when you're fifth level into Bitcoin, and maybe we can talk about receiving, sending, buying, selling.
Yeah. So
But
anyways,
based on
the whole point here is that this goes down to another rabbit hole that we talked about, and I can go down here another hour easy, talk about this.
Yes, I can. If you have a question, we just I come to you, and then you can put the question in here so that we can have the great audio.
Sounds good.
We will give you also some other websites, CoinMarketCap. There you can see the price of Bitcoin. Don't look at the rest of the crypto, but just look at the Bitcoin.
So
the
maybe
reason,
that's my first question.
Why?
that question.
Why Bitcoin and not other coins?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so briefly, if you know how to program, or if you know how to surf, you can go to a website and you can create a smart contract. And the smart contract is on Ethereum, you see? So I can create a smart contract or copy a smart contract. A smart contract is a software program, right? It's code. So you can go to a website, you can get a standard smart contract, ERC20, and then you say, I want Peter coin. Let's make it Peter coin. Peter coin, and then in that contract, I can say I give 1 billion Peter coin. I am the owner of that smart contract. Now you see Peter coin, 1 billion. I can make you all millionaire right now in Peter coin. You see? So I can, if you have not a Blink wallet, but you have a MetaMask wallet, and the MetaMask wallet is the wallet of Ethereum, for instance. You download that wallet, and then I can give you 1 million Peter coin. So it does mean, because I am the owner, I didn't create anything, I didn't use any energy, I didn't solve any problem. The Peter coin is not backed by anything. So that is crypto. Crypto is basically, you can create a coin, you can create anything, you can own it. If you look at Ethereum, that is the basic coin. ETH is basically, there is a corporation, there is an organization, and they are mastering that ETH. They can just say, we will increase the ETH. You understand? Now, in Bitcoin, like William told you, nobody can make more of it just like that. There will be only 21 million. Nobody can change the code, while in my smart contract, I can change the code. What is your name, sir? Andy? Next, let's change the ETH. For 1 Peter coin, I will change my smart contract that you will get 2 Andy coins. You see? So I can continually change the protocol, change the smart contract. In Bitcoin, there is no corporation. Nobody can just change it. Satoshi Nakamoto put the code out there, and now the code is distributed. Another thing is, if I make the Peter coin or the Rooney coin, then it is only I am hosting that coin. You see, it is centralized. So when you hear about crypto versus Bitcoin, that is the reason, because Bitcoin is a commodity. Bitcoin is something like nobody can really change it. It is like digital gold. It is more scarce right now than gold. Because gold, there is only 2% of gold being found every year. And then Bitcoin, there is less. The Bitcoin that is created every year is less than 2%. It's going to decrease lower. So that's the main. Does that answer your question? That's when you hear crypto and when you hear Bitcoin, it is different things. And to make it more a security, so all the cryptos, these are securities. That is just like a stock. There is a company behind it, and the company can make more of it. So in the United States, there is securities law, and I cannot just give and start offering Peter coin, because I'm a corporation, and then immediately the lawyers, the security exchange, etc. will come after me. Now Bitcoin, they treat Bitcoin differently, and to finalize it, if you are an institution, if you are a pension fund, if you are APNA, if you are ENIA. No, if you are a pension fund, you can be buying an exchange traded fund.
Is that a company?
So there is an exchange traded fund. It's just like a stock right now.
I'm kidding.
You can buy it, and many institutions in the world, they are starting to buy not directly the Bitcoin, but they are starting to buy the exchange traded fund. So while everybody is saying, okay, crypto, you have to follow that Bitcoin. The institutional investors have already started investing in that. It is not advice, it is not like financial advice, but there is many money in the world, many fiat money in the world, paper, and they are looking for a safe haven.
But just to clarify one thing, the SEC is a Securities and Exchange Commission. They're the gods of the financial world in terms of regulating these securities. They have determined that Bitcoin is not a security. So they go through the legal process, and they also determined that Ethereum is not a security. So keep that in mind. They've come up and suggested and recommended that that's the case. Now it could be that in the future is determined, but besides those two, and you go into the technical details of one uses proof of work, and Ethereum uses proof of stake, which is a different type of consensus mechanism. But that's a whole rabbit hole that you can go into. But because that happened, it could be that in the future, it becomes under the scope of the SEC regulatory arm. That's Ethereum, but Bitcoin will never end up there. So it could be that that's the case, but besides these two, that maybe Ethereum is in the gray area, but the financial world is backing it up because of its benefits of smart contracts and all the things that Bitcoin by design is not doing, because that's what Bitcoin is, a savings mechanism. It's a long term, and it's not for smart contract, although it has smart contract built into it. There's all these other Peter coin, all these other coins out there that immediately fall under the SEC scrutiny, and they fall as becoming being as
maybe you can go to the coin market cap.
There was a question here?
Just, yeah.
Yeah, I have one, because me as a person, how can I profit? How can I profit from this meeting? Because, I began with Bitcoin. Sorry for my English; it's not very good. I began in 2015 when Ethereum was $30 for one Ethereum, but there was a lot of hacking of the wallets, so that's why I stopped. And what can you assure us that this wallet that you're using will not be hacked, or can you assure us and can you teach us or give us advice when we want to put our money into the bank, but is the money in Bitcoin worth it more than we put our money in the bank? Because now, if you put money in the bank, they will charge you interest for your own money that you're saving in the bank now. So that's why I'm here.
I can help answer.
Yeah.
So today you came in a bit late, but at the beginning, it's okay. We were teaching about Blink Wallet, and I can show you afterwards. But with Blink Wallet, you're still trusting the Blink company, and that's so you can do cheaper, faster Bitcoin payments, which is called Lightning. So we recommend that you keep not so much money on the Blink Wallet, maybe 1,000 guilders, maybe maximum 5,000 guilders at the very most. And then after you have, let's say, over 1,000 guilders of Bitcoin, you would move it to the Blue Wallet. And the Blue Wallet, you're directly on the Bitcoin network. You're not trusting any other company. And as long as you keep the 12-word backup phrase secure and your phone doesn't physically get hacked, then your money is good on the Blue Wallet. But on the Blink Wallet, you're always still trusting someone, but that's the nature of the Bitcoin ecosystem right now. For the fast, cheap Lightning payments, we need to trust one of the companies that make those wallets.
So to reiterate this part, this is where we were just we had that example with the wallet of Satoshi and the Blink wallet, right? Which are custodial wallets. Custodial wallets, and the reason we're going through this voyage, which is we start here, some people had questions, and then you take us into a completely different world. And the answers to those questions over there are answered in the beginning when you first understand this. So,
could you explain the difference between Lightning and Bitcoin? Because we didn't cover that.
right. So let me do custodial first, and then we'll move into the what they call layers on top of Bitcoin, or layers on top of other blockchains, side chains, whatever they have different terms. But the key here is that custodial wallets is what we were using, which is somebody has control of some aspects of security and the trust that comes with those wallets. So if something goes wrong with the wallet or your funds, they get misplaced, or you pick up the phone and you call. In the case of Visa or MasterCard, you have chargebacks. So you can call back and say, hey, I didn't buy that, I forgot, can you give me money back? So that brings confidence, and those corporations are regulated, they go on the rule of law, and they behave like they're properly done. And that falls under the custodial wallet. Those wallets that we were using is the same thing.
There is a custody.
There's a company that custody that security for you. There's still security within that, so that you and that company have that relationship, and nobody else, obviously, because you don't want nobody else to see what you're. And as long as they behave, their companies are good. But if the company goes under or something bad happens, if the bank goes rogue, and you see that all over the different countries, there's corruption, that also could happen. Okay, that's custodial wallet. Then you move into self-custody wallets, or that's when you become responsible for those funds. Nobody else is. And that's what he was talking about, these 12 words, 24 words. Think of that as a password. So when somebody says, I'm gonna remember a password, well, in the Bitcoin world, we call these 12 words or 24 words. They're English words, and there's so many because we want to make very complicated passwords that are readable by a human, basically. What that 12 words does, it takes that private key, remember that hand? So you had the hand that make the signature. Now you want to make this hand extremely, attached to your body. It goes to sleep every time you go to sleep. It never goes nowhere. Nobody can. Even if they cut it, it doesn't work. So it's your hand, right? So in crypto world, or in the virtual world, you have to somehow secure it in some way, shape, or form. And that's where these 12 words do. There's an algorithm that goes out and encrypts this hand, so that while you're using it is perfect. But let's say because a phone is not attached to you as a human, you could leave it and it goes under the water, and you have to have a backup of it. You have to have, in the case of the bank, if the bank goes, even if the bank gets hit by a flooding, let's say the central bank here gets flooded because of some tsunami or something like that. We have I used to work at the central bank. That's why
we have to keep it short because there are many questions.
All right, so that's what that custody, self-custody it does.
But it's then online. Your key is there.
No, you create it, and you
Custody.
physically write it down.
Okay.
Nobody has that key, and you have that on a paper. You don't have it on a screenshot, nothing.
And if you lose your phone, you go back, grab another phone, put the 12 words, you're up and running.
Then there is centralized exchange means that you log on somewhere, and they have your wallet. And that you have to make sure that part, we don't recommend that. We just do this for entertainment purposes only and educational purposes. But if you are logging somewhere and that's your wallet, that means that if they break into that company, then they can get your funds. You see, so that's why we say self-custody, your own paper, your own things. But he also said, how can I make money? Right, you have to say it like it is a savings thing.
But people could be, but back to centralized exchanges. Exchanges is a marketplace. It's a place everybody comes together to exchange these coins, whether they're Bitcoins, Pepe coin, Danny coin, whatever. go to an exchange, and that's how you exchange stuff. So if you want to go from coin to fiat, you have to have an exchange that's tied to the banking system to go back and forth. So that's what exchanges are. Then there's wallets. Then going back to the point that
Lightning versus.
yeah, so you have Bitcoin and Lightning. So Bitcoin is that blockchain that has those links. Every 10 minutes, you get these links in place. The Lightning is a network that's using the same exact denomination or unit of account, which is the Bitcoin, the SAT. It's using the same, but it's now on top of Bitcoin. Kind of like, think of it like that. That's on top of Bitcoin. So it's kind of like off-chain, using cryptography to send back and forth these very quick. We saw these transactions going. It wasn't 10 minutes. Because think about it. When you send Bitcoins, before Lightning, back in the day, when we needed to send somebody like we just did, and we did it in the back in the day on our meetups, we literally, you could see that the transaction came through, but it's not confirmed. It literally, the wallet says unconfirmed for 10 minutes or more. And eventually it gets confirmed, oh, I got my money. But if you're a coffee maker, and you don't want to
It's too slow if there's a lineup at the shop.
Exactly. But if you're buying a house or a boat, you don't care, because a house, you're going to get the keys in a month from now or 3 weeks from now. So it doesn't matter.
Okay.
So, but that's the difference between Lightning. Lightning is a very fast network on top, and Bitcoin, but all denominated by.
We want next.
Also with the Lightning is it's for smaller payments. So if you're buying a house, you're not going to buy it with monthly.
That's right.
Oh, next questions. We want a little bit. We have to be short on answering them. Next questions. Do you have any questions?
There's nothing short on Bitcoin, but anyway.
Any questions?
We really tried to do so. Yes, that's a good question. So you mentioned the ATM. So the ATH, ATH is Spanish. This is in Puerto Rico.
If you want to buy serious Bitcoin,
So the ATM, you go to Mambo back there, and then there's a machine there, and you put
fiat in?
You put the, I think it's dollars too, right? Guilders only. You put guilders in, and and then it'll show you a QR code, and you do what we just did here.
Yeah.
Just go like that.
What you do is there you can have like Mune wallet and Trust wallet, right?
Any wallet,
Even the Blink
No,
wallet.
the ones we use today.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You
But
can use.
Other wallets can also.
The only thing keep in mind is
you
that
need to have Bitcoin.
When you go to the ATM and the ATM is going to give you the Bitcoins, the ATM might not support Lightning. So that could be a problem. And that's why we saw the wallets. You have also the ability to go on chain and give you a Bitcoin address. So then you would use a Bitcoin.
So if
you are Blink Wallet now, like each of us as a group, this is an important thing. Like you click on receive, and then there's like Lightning. You might see one that says pay code, and then you'll see a third one that says on chain. You'll only see pay code if you've set up your Blink username in the settings. If you didn't, you'll just see Lightning and on chain. So when you're at the ATM at Mambo, you would use on chain. And so the on chain is like what William was explaining with the network earlier.
And you will get an unconfirmed transaction, meaning you have to wait 10 minutes for that to be confirmed.
Yes.
But you don't care because you just put the money in, and you know when it says confirmed, you have almost 100% sure that transaction will get in. Maybe it takes longer depending on the fees. Remember that line about the fees. Go ahead.
maybe I can wait. When you go to Mambo, if you buy, when you have 6 confirmations, then you know for sure that it is fixed on the blockchain, and it is. So one confirmation means one block. One block, yeah. And then 6 confirmations means that your transaction in that block is down there. And so after 6 confirmations, I'm saying, hey, I got my money. I got my hard money. Any questions? Yeah.
This is a graphic representation of this process.
So what's the question?
On live right now. And
Actually take me through that transaction. Let's say I'm in front of the ATM, and I put, let's say, 25
Guilders.
I
Okay.
deposit that.
I can walk you through.
Yeah. So
What do I do next?
Okay.
now, go there so that we can see you.
no, yeah,
I can do it.
Yeah.
het lopen is een beetje lastig.
Over there? Oh, sorry.
By the way, before we start, each of these blocks is a transaction live coming down into the blockchain. And the miners are actually grouping these transactions until it gets full and it gets transacted, and that's the buildup of the block.
Okay, so the question we got is, what are the steps when you're using a Bitcoin ATM? For example, the specific one at Mambo Boulevard. So you'll see two circles and it'll say like buy Bitcoin or sell Bitcoin. And then it's a touch screen. You'll tap buy Bitcoin. And then it will ask you to scan your Bitcoin address. So it has a camera behind a glass. And that's where you go into your Blink wallet, you hit receive, you hit on-chain, and then that barcode, we call it a QR code, you will show it to the camera, and then you'll see that same address shows up on the screen. Then it will ask you to insert bills, like one at a time. So you'll insert 25 guilders, and then you'll see on the screen, it shows you 25 guilders and how much Bitcoin you'll get. And then you just keep doing that until it's the right amount. And I think there's a maximum limit of 1,500 guilders, and then you'll hit like continue, and it'll say thank you, and then you can take a picture if you want of the confirmation screen in case there's any problems, and then you'll get the transaction on your phone a few minutes later. Yeah.
And then you will see confirmation. Probably in Blink wallet you will see. In Moon wallet, you see confirmation, 1 confirmed, 2 confirmed, and then 6 confirmed. Then you know for sure.
Well, you'll get a transaction ID. You go to any of these, go to Google, say Blockchain Explorer or whatever, and it'll get something like this. And you always have a search here. It says block ID. You paste the ID there, and it'll give you information about the ID. So maybe I could do that.
Next question.
Right now, I don't recommend go to any ATM machine because the fees are sky.
10%.
Yesterday, I had to send $125 to someone. The fee was $110, so I didn't do it.
Okay. So where do they go then?
I did another way.
So if you have that bank account, which many people do have here, you can use one of many services that easily link your Dutch bank account to a service that allows you to buy Bitcoin from the euros on your bank account, and then you just transfer from that address that's provided by the service to your wallet that you created here, any wallet. Like that's the best. So I'm using this one custodian service, and it just has a 1% fee on purchasing Bitcoin. That's called BitMyMoney that I'm using, but there are many other ones. And you can just buy Bitcoin easily and cash out easily as well to euros, and it's just way more affordable than the 15% fees of the
What's
ATM.
the website? Because it's useful to share the ones that work for other people.
BitMyMoney.
BitMyMoney.com.
Yeah.
Referral code. Yeah.
So you can, if you trust somebody, you know, from the BTC Curacao community, I could give you $100, 100 guilders, or you give me 100 guilders, and we can transact. And you can watch on the website what the Bitcoin, what the Bitcoin price is right now. And normally people ask a little bit, a little bit transaction. So there are also decentralized exchanges. So decentralized means it's not centralized on a website. It is just computers together. I have seen, for instance, I'm analyzing that. I've seen people go and they give you an Amazon card. So there is an Amazon card. If I want to buy Bitcoin, I can buy an Amazon card of $100 or $50, and I can say on that exchange, hey, I want to receive Bitcoin or Sats, and I have the US Amazon card. You see, and then you type in the Amazon card, they will get the card, etc.
Someone knew that's not the right.
No, but I'm just showing different. So first start with fiat. You can start with the BTC community. You can start fiat versus BTC, and then maybe William, you have $1,000. I need 1,000 guilders. Will you sell it to me? Is
Sure,
it possible?
I don't know, maybe.
Okay.
Let me
You
look
see,
at my
so it's just like that. It's just like.
We don't always want to sell because we're waiting for a better price. In the future.
Yes.
Right.
Good.
But
Okay.
going back to this about confirmation, it has one confirmation. This
Yeah.
specific transactions. You go to this website and take a look at the transact information about that transaction. When you go to a transaction, you know if it's confirmed, you got one, and that eventually goes to 6, 7, and then some.
Yeah, we have to do that. So one question, and then we will ask Monique of Citi to say a few words, and then we close. Any questions? So
FE.
before Monique comes up front, we want to thank you. We want to thank you for being here. We want to invite you for the next episode also, next month. Follow Citi and follow BTC Curacao. Join also the Signal. There is a Signal community of BTC Curacao. William will send you that later on. And in that Signal is just like WhatsApp, but we use Signal. When you are there, you will get information, the BTC Curacao website.
If they message Monique
Yeah.
can message us and we can add you to the Signal.
We can add all these links to some text, so you guys go one place and.
Yes. And then the next episode of BTC Podcast Curacao Citi Cafe will be there. Invite your friends and especially the businesses. I want to invite the businesses, the small businesses, even if you are a consultant, etc., and the youth. If you are the youth, if you are the BTC Curacao, if you are the youth and if you are small business, make sure that you join the digital decentralized finance rails, because things are going to change and things are going to move. So Monique.
And try to keep it simple. This is very complicated stuff. Keep it simple. When I mean keep it simple, that crypto versus Bitcoin makes it a lot simpler if you're on Bitcoin side. And just focus on that. And then when you're confident to move to the next step, then you go to the complicated, less simple stuff. That's my 2 cents.
I will ask afterwards, after we finish, I will just want to briefly, like 1 minute, give all of you an opportunity to say what you want, and we will put a green screen on and we will just ask you what you found about it. That's good for our promotion later on, and also feedback. If you want to help us with that, that would be good.
To be live on the internet, would run.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
we will just ask you like what were you thinking? What was your knowledge about the Bitcoin before, and what was this experience? And you can do it in Dutch, you can do it in English and whatever, okay? So, even if in pavimento. So if you want to participate on the green screen, and behind the green screen we will put a beautiful logo later on.
Whatever you want, you can maybe right. You can pick your background.
Well, that's it.
Okay.
And then next time there will be a BTC Curacao podcast neon light outside. And we are looking for sponsors for doing that. So if you have any sats, you can sponsor that on our website by buying that. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to keep it very briefly because we're already 5 minutes past our time. So I just wanted to very briefly look at this from another angle. Apart from my personal interest in Bitcoin, Citi's interest was sparked mostly by the possibility for local businesses to be able to accept payments. Because if you are a local business owner, you know that it's very hard and expensive to receive online payments and get them on your local bank account. So this is another way which opens, I think, a lot of doors for local businesses to be able to receive online payments. So this is why, we are very interested in this and hope to, like Rooney already said, to expand more on this and organize more concrete activities for small businesses on how they can use this and how their business can benefit from this. Also, we are a non-profit, so we are also looking to see how we and other non-profits can maybe accept Bitcoin donations. So we're also looking into that. This is basically, what our interest is in this. More to come, like Ronnie said. So keep an eye on BTC Curacao, the Citi Facebook, Citi website, Citi social media. It's all citi.cw. So I would like to thank everyone for coming, and a big round of applause for these guys.
Thank you. Success.
And thank you to Roos also.
Yeah. Online. But we'll have the links and the presentations on, you will distribute them.
Yeah, and remember please to scan and get the digital badge, because even if you might not really need a digital badge, for us it's good to, try out this new platform and see how it works. So we would really appreciate it if you would scan and get the digital badge. Thank you. It's
Any testimonials, any
Oh,
people?
you're right. But it's a new one though. Yeah, thank you.